Are you struggling to understand what you need to do to actually improve your life? All you need is three different things: goals, systems, and routines. I'm going to tell you exactly how to build all of these three things to build for yourself the life that you want to live. Welcome to Mission Undercover. So, why are goals so important? They act as a guiding light and give you intrinsic motivation to be productive. They help you understand what you actually want from life, and they help you define your purpose. My view is that everyone should have moral ambition. This was a concept encapsulated by Rutger Bregman in his book Moral Ambition. This means that everyone should have a goal of contributing to society in some way, having skills and experiences which help contribute to the development of society, that help make it better, to leave a better future for the next generations. Everyone should always have that goal in mind, that they can help improve society out of the actions that they do. I always had this feeling within me that it would be futile to have a life without having contributed to the betterment of those around me, to the betterment of the social structures that we have in place. If stagnation is maintained, then that gives birth to the rise of populism and the rise of immorality and the rise of decline. And this very decline is what causes societies to collapse. So that was what drove me to have my goal of making the best society possible and being a contributor to the ideal society that I had envisioned within me. There was never really something that tied this together before Rutger Bregman came out with his book. And once I saw the title of it, I was like, this is exactly what I've been thinking of all these years, that we all should have ambition for ourselves to improve our own position financially and socially. But we should also have a guiding principle of contributing to society alongside that, having something which actually improves the lives of others and actually helps people and helps remove the problems of people rather than just helping us to accumulate wealth ourselves, helping us to accumulate a better life for ourselves rather than everyone else around us being pushed down by the oppressive tides of individualism. This is a view I've always had, and this view was secured by the ambition that was generated by Rutger Bregman's book. And this is an ambition which I will always hold dear to me. But beyond that, you also need to have a framework for how you actually set the goals that you want. Everyone's life can be easily divided into three spheres: personal, professional, and financial. Personal is what you do outside of work or school. So that's your personal life, your relationships, your skills and development. So you could have a goal that you want to develop a certain skill, like you want to get better at cooking, or you could have a goal that you want to improve your communication skills. These are all your personal objectives and how you want to develop yourself as an individual. Professional is all about your work or your school. So how can you improve your outcomes there? How can you get a promotion? How can you improve your grades? How can you improve your performance? That is all about contributing more to the workplace or school environment that you're in and trying to optimize your routines and your systems to get the best result possible for your ambition. You need to have an ambitious goal that actually motivates you towards achieving it. If you have a very small goal, then it won't motivate you at all, and you won't be encouraged to actually work towards that goal. And finally, financial is all about how you make your money, how you become financially secure. Without financial security, there's not any chance that you can improve your life. So you need to actually have some goal in mind that you want to get a certain amount of money that can help give you comfort and help actually facilitate any further objectives you have for improving your life. So you need to have these three things in mind when you're setting your goals. And another important thing is you need to have a time frame that guides your goal setting. If you don't have a time frame and you just have an indefinite period on which your goals can be achieved, there'll be no pressure to actually complete them and you're likely to procrastinate them. So you need to have a time limit. Let's say within 6 months, I want to reach this particular target. Within 1 year, I want to reach this particular target. For young people, obviously the last one is very difficult. I know that I didn't really have a financial goal, and that's something that I'll be working towards in the future because obviously it's difficult as a young person to make money, but also you should still have that ambition in mind. Maybe a few years down the line, you can extend the time frame, but before that, you can develop the skills in your personal section to actually be able to improve your financial situation. So all of these three things tie together and help improve your life and make and give you the best life that you could possibly want. These three things that you need to keep in mind are essential if you want to set your goals. So these goals need to be set within this framework so that you're actually motivated to achieve them and you have something to work toward. The next question is, upon your pursuit of all these goals, How do you actually confront the inevitable failures that you're going to encounter? We will all face some form of failure in pursuit of our goals within these three frames. Let me tell you a story. As part of developing my skills, I joined F1 in school. I think it was last year. I was really interested in F1, and it seemed like a nice team project that I could get involved in. I failed miserably. Our team received zero funding, and we had to drop out early from the competition without even going to the actual event. But this taught me a few valuable lessons. The first lesson that I learned was that a good team and good leadership isn't what actually creates success. What actually creates success is having value and providing value whilst also having an edge over the competition. So we had a pretty good team on our hands, and we had a pretty good strategic direction. But we didn't have the connections like the other teams did. We didn't have any networks to leverage for us to receive funding from. This shows that technical expertise isn't actually that important when it comes to any aspect of pursuing your goals. It's all about your confidence and your ability to communicate with others and leverage your networks. So if I was to do it again, since then I've developed a lot of networks. I've been to a lot of networking events. I've communicated with a lot of people. I've interviewed some guests on this podcast. I would be able to leverage all of those contacts that I have and use them to help develop my project a lot more effectively. So the reason that I'm telling you about this is because you can also use this in a different situation. Don't be afraid to reach out to people. When I was first putting this podcast onto video, I was actually quite scared of showing my face in public and actually putting videos out on social media. But then I realized that you don't have to care about what others think. It's all about what your goals are and why you're trying to achieve them. What's the actual purpose behind that? And if you're actually passionate about what you're saying and what you're doing, nothing can actually hold you back. And no matter what other people might say to you, it won't actually affect you as much because you know that you're trying to do the best you can and you're trying to improve. And that's all that matters. And eventually, if you do a lot over time, then the compound effect of all your efforts will provide results to you. That is a certainty. Don't succumb to that imposter syndrome. When I was first contacting podcast guests, I was a little bit reluctant because I never thought that any of them would reply to me because of how unpopular my podcast is and, a little bit of that imposter syndrome. But then I just did it, and some of them did get back to me. So, you know what they say, you miss 100% of shots that you don't take. So you need to just go out there with confidence and try and reach out of your comfort zone to make progress towards your goal. The second lesson is always take advantage of opportunities. Even if you experience failure, you still have the opportunity to develop skills. I developed the skills of teamwork, leadership, because I was project manager, communication. I also developed skills of developing something across a long period of time, managing deadlines. There's a lot of things you can learn, even if you fail at something. And just getting involved in a lot of different things helps you develop a versatile, different array of skill sets that you can use in different situations. So when you actually get into the field or the situation that you actually want to be in, let's say you want to be a doctor, all of the skills of let's say you joined a debating society, those skills are still relevant to you when you're trying to communicate your ideas about medicine to other people, if you're doing any research or anything like that. So that's why the virtues of interdisciplinary education is so important in the modern world. These virtues have been significantly lost amidst the increasing specialization of people. In the medieval ages, there used to be a lot of polymaths, people who were naturally gifted in a lot of areas, who had a wide array of expertise rather than a narrow specialism. This is something that we really should be bringing back, where people have a wide range of skill sets rather than just being consigned to one area, because that is what allows a lot of people to use their different skills to contribute in different ways to different aspects of society. If people are in a narrow direction, then they can't react as easily to unforeseen changes. It's the same in nature. Animals that have a wider array of adaptations are more effective in responding to changes in the environment. Similarly, if there's a lack of variation in our skills, like the lack of variation in animals, then we will experience extinction. We will be beaten by the competition, and there'll be nothing left for us to receive. We need to be versatile, and we need to have a wide range of skills to make sure that we beat our competitors. If there is someone who's competing with us who has one specialist skill, that you're competing in the same area, you can use the other skills that you have to beat them. That is simple. If you have a wider range of skills, that is far more helpful than having a narrow specialism to a high quality. That is for sure. We are a part of nature as well. We are not exempt from the laws of nature. We still experience those natural desires of hunger and thirst. So we are not exempt from the natural tendencies of competition. It is within human nature to compete with others and to try and be the best. So when you are trying to work towards your goals, you also need to have that in mind. You need to have someone to compete with. You need to have some drive that is going to motivate you. And that can be achieved through competition, whether that's competing with others who are working towards the same goal or competing with others who are working towards different goals that think they're better than you or think they can beat you. That healthy competition can create diamonds. Another lesson was to focus on high value tasks. If I knew about the Pareto principle of focusing on 80% of the tasks that produce the highest output, whilst neglecting the 20% that don't, there would have been a lot more output and greater efficiency within our little organization. So this is something that the Labour government has also struggled with. Government really needs to embrace this quality because Labour has been far too focused on small things that don't make material difference to people's lives, like immigration and other small little changes like railways. There's something else that actually makes a material difference to people's lives, and that is the cost of living, taxes, and public services quality. That is the three things that Labour actually needs to focus on. But they've been neglecting these three main priorities whilst focusing on cultural war and ideological issues, and also focusing on other irrelevant things. There needs to be a more narrow focus within government to help achieve these urgent priorities that actually help and support people rather than lower quality things that actually aren't helping people. This also leads on to my next point of strategic direction. Labour has also been afflicted by the malaise of not having a sense of clarity or a strategic direction that's guiding their mission in government. If they had that strategic vision, if they had that clarity and that purpose, that one overarching goal that guides them above all else, then there would be something that would help drive them towards that. And then there would actually be more tangible achievements to speak of. Similarly, in our organization, we didn't have one overarching thing we want to achieve. We had a variety of different priorities. So within your life, you also need to have one overarching goal that overrides everything else. One thing that you really want to achieve. One thing that overrules everything else that you've written down in your goals. You need to have that one higher goal. It's like a transcendent thing. You need to have that within yourself so that you can be guided towards achieving it, so that you can have that transcendent level of motivation that actually pushes you beyond your limits to get the best possible outcomes. So you need to have strategic direction and you need to focus on high value tasks. That is what will grant you the best possible outcome. Now that you know how to set goals and to learn from failure, how can you actually achieve the goals that you set? You need to establish routines and systems. You need to wake up early in the morning and do 90 minutes of extreme focused work. Beyond 90 minutes, the quality of your output will diminish significantly. Whatever important things you need to do, you should wake up really early in the morning before everyone else and try and get them done. This is how you get that edge I was talking about, how you beat the competition. You are doing all the work in the day before there's even a chance for you to procrastinate, before there's even a chance for you to get distracted. Meanwhile, your competitors are sleeping. This is how you get ahead of the competition. You need to do the highest value, most difficult tasks that you're likely to procrastinate later on in the day. So that's the most difficult work you can possibly think of. The thing that you've been putting off for the longest period of time. Get that work done first. Do those high value tasks, and then you're likely to get the best possible output and the best possible results. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get into a flow state. This is where you don't even notice the time passing by. You're so focused on what you're doing that you're just getting the highest possible output. You have no distractions around you. There's nothing that can put you off from doing the work that you're doing, from getting the results that you want to get. This flow state helps you get the maximum output possible, and it prepares you for other things in life as well. And the way that you actually achieve this is by meditating and trying to remove distractions from your life to improve your focus. This means removing high dopamine activities that leach at the utility of your time usage. This could be the use of social media. This could be gaming. You need to try and minimize those things and try and focus more on having calm periods where you're focused on only one thing or focused on little things, just trying to relax and be within your inner self. This could be meditation. This is something that's really powerful and it really helps you improve your focus because you're just focusing on your breathing or you're just focusing on one thing that you're looking at. And this helps you to focus on one thing at one time. Get in that flow state where nothing else is bothering you. No external, extraneous thoughts are distracting you. No extra things can divert you from your true purpose. This helps you get that clarity that I was talking about, that direction, and also helps you get in the flow state. This is something that's essential if you want to get the results that you need to achieve your goals. Then what you need to do is have established routines. You need to have a daily schedule that plans out what you're going to do at different times of the day. What specifically are you going to do at what specific times? If you don't have a specific time binding you, then you're likely to procrastinate it. So I had a goal that I wanted to read every day. Yeah. And I didn't have a specific time for when I was going to do that. So I missed quite a lot of days and I didn't get it done regularly. Then I established a specific time that I was going to do it. I said I was going to read 30 minutes before I was going to sleep every single day. Once I had that specific time period, I was locked into doing it. I couldn't avoid it. Once the clock hit that specific time, I had to do it. And then I was more able to achieve that. You need to have a series of regular habits that help contribute towards your goals. So what you need to do right now is grab a piece of paper and order every single habit you do currently. What are the things you do regularly without even thinking about them? Then write down all the things that you actually need to do and actually want to do to help improve your life. Then you need to get a habit tracker and track which days you're actually doing something and which days you're doing something you don't actually want to do, like eating junk food. Once you've tracked them, then you'll have a clearer picture of how you're actually doing, what progress you're making towards your goals, and you can try and cut out things that are detrimental towards achieving your goals. To actually cut something out from your regular routine, you need to make it difficult. You need to have some adversity that's preventing you from doing that. So if you have easy access to junk food in your house, then you're more likely to eat it and you're more likely to be tempted by it. If you don't buy any junk food, then there'll be more friction towards actually doing that bad habit. You'll have to actually go all the way to the supermarket and actually buy that stuff, and you're less likely to do it. You need to have this approach when trying to get rid of bad habits. So you need to increase the friction and try and increase the resistance that's stopping you from doing that habit. And it's the other way around when you're trying to build a good habit. You need to try and remove the resistance as much as possible. So if you're trying to study, have all your stuff out before you actually start your study session. Then there'll be a bit less friction there. You won't have to get your books out of your bag. You won't have to get a pen out. There'll be a little bit of routine set that will help you to actually get started. There'll be some support there, some guardrails that actually direct you towards starting. Once you get started, it's a little bit more easier. I always find that getting started is the hardest part. But once you get started, you get in that flow state, you can work for like more than an hour and you won't even notice the time go by. And then you'll actually be so focused that you won't get distracted by anything. And then you'll actually get all the work you need to do done and you'll have time to do other things as well. That's why having a productive life and optimizing your routine is so important, because it's not about actually doing productive things all the time. It's about getting value out of your time. It's about having enough time to do the things you actually enjoy. That is what being time rich actually means. Having enough time to do the things you really enjoy and minimizing the time you're doing the things that you don't enjoy, like working or studying. So that's the thing that you need to do to establish these goals, these habits, routines, and these frameworks that help contribute towards you actually achieving your goals. This is the path that you need to take. Finally, the thing you have to consider last is results. After you've been doing something consistently, you'll have results and some output to actually validate all the work that you've put in. And that can only happen over a long period of time. You have to persist and be in these things for the long game. You need to persist with your habits and your routines long term and see how that affects you over a long period of time, what results it actually creates. Once you have results, don't stop there. Don't just stop once you've achieved your goals. Otherwise, you'll revert to the same old framework of thinking and you'll regress in terms of the progress that you've made. So what you need to do is have a lot of other interests on the side. Remember what I said earlier. Variation is the key to winning against a competition. You'll never have success if you consign yourself towards one area of expertise. You can develop a lot of other skills in different areas. So I'm part of a lot of different things in my life, part of a lot of different clubs and societies and groups. Some of them are not within my comfort zone, right? Like networking and talking to people, that's not part of my comfort zone. It's not part of something that I'd like to do regularly, right? But I'm still pushing myself out of my comfort zone and talking to people and communicating with them and trying to build my skills outside of merely the realm of the things that I like and enjoy. So having that variety is really important and really helpful for making you a more well-rounded person, making you more interesting when you're talking to people. What can you talk about with them? All the things that you do, you can discuss that with them. You can discuss the things you know about, like if you know about current affairs in the world, you can discuss that. If you know about literature, if you know about music, there's a lot of things you can discuss that correspond not just to your goals, but also your interests outside of that. And also the other things you've done to develop yourself as an individual. Being a well rounded person is really important, not just for your relationships, but also for your professional success. So, this is something that I'd really urge you to consider. The one really important thing I'd say you need to do is reading. Reading is really going to help you develop your emotional intelligence, but also your general intelligence. It's going to help you learn more about the world and how the world actually works. It's going to help you learn about the history of the societies that we live in, the history of the people and how the thoughts they've considered across society, what kind of things they've come up with, what kind of ideas have been conceptualized throughout history. It's going to help you be a more contemplative and considerate person. You can consider the feelings of others more effectively. You can have wider knowledge of different things. You can expand yourself beyond your way of thinking. It's going to help you become the most interesting and most well rounded person possible if you do reading, if you have that variation in your life, and if you're also working towards your goals as well. Having a balance between all of these things will help make you the most improved person that you can be. And this is the important way to achieve it. The last thing I'd say is there's only one thing that separates the elite people in our societies versus those who actually lose out, versus those who are average. Elite people don't get complacent when they see results. They always look to improve and to innovate. Look at the world's biggest businessmen and celebrities. They haven't got successful just from being satisfied with what they've got in terms of the results they have in their professional fields. They've gone further. They've innovated. They've improved. They've never been satisfied. I can tell you right now that Cristiano Ronaldo and the world's best football and cricket players didn't get satisfied when they got their first result, when they got their first little wins. They always went for something bigger. They always went even further than what was expected. And that's what set them apart from the competition. If you get satisfied with small results, if you stagnate, then you'll fall behind. Not moving is the same as falling behind. You need to keep moving a little bit every day, even if it's only a little bit. It's better than not moving at all. That is why you need to be consistent towards your progress. The people who are most consistent and the people who persist for the longest, who try and improve and innovate the most, are the people who are successful. But also, volume is really important as well. The quantity of work you do will also set you apart from those who are competing with you. If, let's say, you are a salesperson, if you make 500 more calls every day compared to all the competition, you're going to improve your skills much faster and you're far more likely to get results as well. So the two things that really matter are quantity and not becoming complacent once you see results. That is what's going to set you apart from the competition. That is it for today. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening. Make sure to get your goals in order now. Make sure to build the systems and build the routines that can help you achieve those goals. And make sure to respond to failure and to the results that you receive appropriately so that you're driving yourself towards success. This has been Mission Undercover. I hope to see you next time.